In 1972, the world population was 3.8 billion people. 1 barrel of oil in 1972 cost $3.50. And in 1972, the most advanced computer had 2 megabytes of main memory. Now you compare that to the world we know today. The population went from 3.8 billion people to now 7. The oil price went from $3.50 per barrel to 100 and beyond. And a computer with 2 megabytes of main memory is what we today use in an average singing birthday card. If we project the future, we begin to see a situation where population growth will probably not slow down. Most of the growth will happen in Asia and South Sahara and Africa. We're talking about probably adding another 2 billion people over the next 40 years. When we talk about consumption, we know today that the new middle class, most of which is in Asia, is going to demand a new lifestyle. Alone when it comes to food, the average consumption per person on this world is now 7 times higher than it was in 1970. And we do live in a very resource-constrained world today, where not only energy, but water and many, many other resources are becoming scarce. And I will argue for everyone that is a business leader that the main limitation to the growth opportunities that we have in our businesses is not going to be the discussion about the euro, it is going to be the access to resources. Now, if that is true, then we see a situation with huge demands, very limited access to resource, and on top of that, an aging population in very big parts of the world. That is the environment we're in. That is the blue marble of today, and therefore it is really not time for entertainment. I believe it's time for leadership. I believe it's time for innovation to find new ways to describe how we run businesses. Otherwise, this equation will not continue. Now, talking about equation. In 1974, Anne and Paul Ehrlich actually described the environmental impact equation. And I'm a mathematician, so of course I looked into that, and it has few parameters, so I kind of got the logic of it. It says that the impact I equals the P, which is the size of the population, multiplied by A, the affluence, which is the consumption per person, multiplied by technology. So you add all of these elements up, and you realize that this basically describes the impact we have in the world based on how many people that we are, what we consume, and how we produce what we consume. Now, as a technologist, this is worrying because T adds to the impact. It's multiplied. Now, why is this? Because in the industrial age, the second phase in London, technology was used in order to optimize labor productivity. That is how the industrial age was evolving. That we use technology, so if you could add a machine that would consume raw materials and produce waste but increase labor productivity, we would be willing to do so. Everything was circled around our ability to optimize labor productivity, and as a consequence, we accepted massive waste. That is how the industrial age worked. And I believe that we are at a situation now where, at least as a technologist, I either have to leave my job or challenge the equation. What if we are at a situation where technology changes the equation? What if we could move technology to the denominator of this equation so that when we add technology, it reduces impact? What if we don't try and optimize labor productivity, but resource productivity? And we use technology to increase resource productivity, and we use technology to invent ways of eliminating waste, not just reducing waste. That is my claim, that that is possible. If we embrace the digital era, in all industries and take the opportunity that is right in front of us. I claim that the cheapest barrel of oil is the barrel that you don't use in your business. So that is the optimistic me. That is the optimistic me that says maybe we have a unique opportunity. We're entering a new era, which is not a great party. It is a moment for leadership, and it is a moment to reinvent businesses based on adding a new kind of technology, the one that reduces our impact. And with that, we take the biggest limitation we have in growth, because growth is necessary. And with that, we create an opportunity, not just for us, but for generations after us. That is my assumption, and that is what I lead at every single day, besides my job as this co-CEO of SAP.
But Jim, you're part of a multinational company. You have huge revenues. Isn't it easier to talk about these higher values if you're making money? How do you make this be beyond a green logo on your website if you're struggling with your business? If you're a small and medium-sized business, what do you do?
No, I think you're right. I think the benefit of being a small and medium-sized business is that you have less of a size to change. And so you can actually move faster, and I do believe speed really matters. I do believe that those who make the changes, and I gave a number of examples of industries where there is a change going on. Typically, the change starts from the small, the Napster. In healthcare, this analysis of DNA for cancer treatment is a company with 30 people in Germany called Molecular Health. And so many of these new ideas will come from them, and that's why I'm saying embrace those. I don't think the problem is the small companies. I think the problem is the big companies, because they are so successful in what they do today that they have a hard time disrupting it.
But I was just wondering, can't it be very expensive to be sustainable? Is it competitive?
See, that's where I believe that we are making a wrong assumption. We think that it's a trade-off. I think it's not. Obviously, there are many things that in my leadership, in my business, I can't influence. But I do have an opportunity, for instance, to influence the digital skills available in Europe. And I'm doing so. Now, that probably cost me a couple of million euros. But imagine the benefits of getting more people that will be available for me and my partners so that I can accelerate my growth. The biggest limitation I have today in my business is the lack of skills. We have many new technologies, mobile computing, cloud computing, in-memory computing. Nobody knows enough about these technologies, so I can't move ahead, even if I have a great product, because I don't have enough skills. So it's a good example where an investment pays off for me and the environment I'm in. Or my CO2 emissions reduction. I saved 220 million euros. This is bottom line, better business. Now, these are areas where I can influence. And I'm sure if you take all the leaders in the room and they do something that's positive for their business and still optimized, there is an opportunity to actually change the equation.